Hello dear students, I am Dr. Chandrakala HD. In this video, I'll be teaching you about data link layer. I'll be giving a brief introduction to the functions of data link layer in the OSI model, and I'll also be teaching some of the error detection techniques available in data link layer. In particular, we will be learning two error detection techniques in this video: single parity check and two-dimensional parity check. The data link layer is the second layer in the OSI model, and it has some well-defined functions to perform in the peer-to-peer data transfer. The first function of data link layer is framing and link access. The data link layer protocols, they take the bits from physical layer or packets from network layer and prepare a frame out of that particular data. A frame consists of the data field which was received from the peer layer or neighboring layer, which will be added with some header and trailer information by the data link layer. The data link layer not only specifies the structure of the frame, it also provides channel access protocols using which the frame can be transmitted over the transmission link. So the framing function of data link layer prepares frames out of the data received by the data link layer from its adjacent layer. The data link layer will add a header and trailer to the data of the adjacent layer and prepares a frame out of it. The frame consists of a data field, header, and trailer. Apart from framing, the data link layer also provides channel access protocols by which the frame can be transmitted on the transmission link. The second function of data link layer is reliable data delivery. The data link layer provides a reliable frame delivery over the network through its transmission and acknowledgement service. The sender data link layer transmits a frame to the receiver. Upon receipt of the frame, the receiving data link layer sends back an acknowledgement to the sender data link layer. Thus, the sender will get a confirmation about whether its frame, the frame which was sent by it recently, was received correctly by the receiver or not. The third function of the data link layer is flow control. The receiving node cannot always receive the frames at a faster rate than it can process the frame. So if at all it is receiving frames at a faster rate than its original speed, its buffer will overflow and the frames will be lost. Hence, the data link layer will make sure that the sender and receiver nodes will operate at the same speed during the data transmission, so that the sender sends the frames at a speed which is manageable by the receiver. The next function of data link layer is error detection. Whenever data is transmitted over the communication channel on the network, there is always a possibility of data becoming erroneous due to signal attenuation and noise in the channels. As we all know, on the communication channel, data will be transmitted in binary form as zeros and one combinations. Whenever signal attenuation or noise occurs during the transmission of data, there are chances of the bits being changed, a zero becoming one or one becoming zero. The data link layer provides mechanisms to detect any such errors which would have occurred during the transmission. The data link layer achieves this error detection by adding error detection bits in the frame. whenever the data link layer prepares a frame, it will add error detection bits to the frame so that when the receiver checks these error detection bits, it can identify whether the data is correctly received or there are any errors in the received data. Error correction is yet another function of data link layer. It's an extension of error detection. Similar to error detection, the error correction not only provides facility for detecting errors, it also provides a way in which the position where the error has occurred can be identified and corrective measures can be taken. The data link layer supports half duplex data transmission as well as full duplex data transmission. In a full duplex mode, both the sender and receiver can transmit the data at the same time. Whereas in half duplex mode, only one node can transmit data at a time. If sender is transmitting the data through the communication medium, the receiver has to wait. If the receiver is transmitting, the sender has to wait. Both of them cannot transmit at the same time. These were few functions of data link layer. Now, let us discuss in more detail some error detection techniques which are available in the data link layer. Before we move to the techniques, we should understand what is error detection. So whenever data is transmitted from one node to another node through a network, there is no guarantee that all the data will be received intact and identical to what they were sent by the sender. There might be chances that one or more bits get reversed. One or more zeros can become ones, one or more ones can become zero. So an error is a situation when message received at the receiver's end is not exactly same to the message which was transmitted by the sender. There are two types of errors which can occur during data transmission. The first one is single bit error. The second one is burst error. The single bit error means only one bit in the given data unit is changed from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1. You can see in this picture, for example, in an 8-bit data unit which is sent over the transmission is this 00000010. This is the 8-bit data unit which is sent by the sender. This data unit gets transmitted, and when it reaches the receiver, the data which is received is 00001010. So you can observe the 5th bit has changed from 0 to 1. So in this data unit, a single bit error has occurred. So these kinds of single bit errors, they are not very likely in serial data transmission, but they are more likely in parallel data transmission. So serial data transmission means the data in the data unit will be sent one bit at a time, one after the other. Whereas parallel data transmission means all the bits of the data unit are sent at one shot parallelly at the same time. So single bit errors can generally occur during parallel data transmission. Now coming to burst errors. In case of burst errors, 2 or more bits can be changed from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. The burst error will be determined from the first corrupted bit till the last corrupted bit. The bits between the first corrupted bit and the last corrupted bit are called as the error bus, and the length of the burst error is determined between the number of bits which appear between the first corrupted bit and the last corrupted bit. This picture shows an example. So in the sent bits, the bits from bit 4 to bit 8 were 00010. So these were the bits which were sent. But at the receiving end, these bits were received as 11011. So these 5 bits are wrong out of the entire sent bit. Rest all bits have been received correctly. So these 5 bits are called as corrupted bits, and the length of burst error is 5. So The length of the burst error depends on the duration of noise which affects the data transmission. Burst errors are most likely to occur in serial data transmission as opposed to parallel data transmission. And how many bits get affected during the data transmission depends on the speed at which data is transmitted and the duration of noise. Now coming to the error detecting techniques. The data link layer provides 4 different error detecting techniques: single parity check, two-dimensional parity check, checksum, and cyclic redundancy check. These are the 4 main error detecting techniques. So in the rest part of the video, we will be learning 2 techniques out of these, the single parity check and two-dimensional parity check. Firstly, the single parity check. In single parity checking, a redundant bit called as parity bit will be appended at the end of the data unit. The parity bit is calculated depending on the number of ones in the data unit. So there are 2 types of parities, even parity and odd parity. If the number of ones in the data unit is even, say number of ones is 2, 4, 6, 8, so on, multiples of 2, then we say that the parity of the data unit is even parity. On the other hand, if the number of ones in the data unit is odd, like 1, 3, 5, 7, so on, we say that the data unit is having a odd parity. Depending on this logic, single parity checking is a simple mechanism and inexpensive mechanism which can detect the errors. Say, let us take, for example, we are considering an 8-bit data unit under transmission and we are following even parity. Any one parity will be followed in common between the sender and receiver. If sender uses even parity, even receiver uses even parity. If sender uses odd parity, even receiver uses odd parity technique. So let us assume both are using even parity. So here, if we consider this data unit, 8-bit data unit, 1011-011. So this is the data unit which is under transmission. The data is 7 bits long here. So we will compute a parity bit for it. We are following an even parity. The number of ones in the data is 5. There are 5 ones. To make this as an even parity data unit, we will append the parity bit as 1. Now, the parity of this whole 8-bit unit becomes even. Now there are 6 ones in total, hence the parity is even. So after appending this parity bit, the data will be sent through the transmission media to the receiver. At the receiving end, the receiver will compute the parity of this 8-bit unit. If it comes out to be even, the receiver understands that the data has been received error-free and it will accept it. If at all the parity doesn't come out to be even if 1 bit is changed during transmission, the even parity cannot be confirmed. It becomes odd parity. Hence, in such cases, the receiver will reject the data. So this is how the single parity checking method can detect single bit errors. The single parity checking method is quite easy to understand and implement. It's quite inexpensive as well, but it has a drawback. It can only detect single bit errors. If 2 bits are interchanged during transmission, then it cannot detect the errors. An example is shown in this picture. So in this is a 9-bit data unit and 8 are from data and 1 is the parity bit. So here, this particular 9-bit unit has an even parity. There are only 2 ones in total and this gets transmitted. At the receiving end, this gets received as 01001010 with even parity bit 1. So you can observe 2 bits have got modified. The second bit and the fifth bit are changed from 0 to 1. But still, if you compute, if the receiver computes the parity of this received data unit, the number of ones is 4. So it says even parity is confirmed. Hence, the receiver assumes that the parity of the data is even, hence all the data bits are received intact and correctly. So it fails to detect the errors. That's the drawback of single parity check. Now let's move on to the second parity check, two-dimensional parity check. In case of two-dimensional parity check, a row parity and column parity bit will be used. So it arranges the data in terms of rows and columns. The two-dimensional parity check method arranges the data units in parallel in rows and columns. For each row, there is a row parity, and for each column, there is a column parity bit. So the sender will append the row parity and column parity bits, and it will send the parity bits along with the data to the receiver. At the receiver side, the receiver will recompute the parities, and if the parity is confirmed, it assumes the data to be correctly received. Say, for example, there are 4 data blocks here to be 4 data units to be transmitted. So for each of these 4 units are arranged in rows and columns. For each row, there is a parity bit. Again, we are here following the even parity. So in the first row, there are 4 ones. It's already in even parity, hence the parity bit is to be made 0. Even in the second data unit, there are 4 ones, so the row parity is 0. The third row, 2 ones, so parity bit 0. The fourth row, 2 ones, again the parity bit in the row is 0. Similarly, even for the columns, the parity bit is computed. So in the first column, there are 3 ones. In order to make even parity, the column parity bit becomes 1. The second column has 1, 1, so the parity bit is 1. The third column has 2 ones, so parity bit is 0. The third column, the parity bit 1. Fourth column, parity bit 1. Similarly, the sixth column, parity bit is 0. Seventh column, parity bit 1. Eighth column, parity bit is 1. And even for the column parity bit, there is a column parity unit, there is a row parity bit which is attached. The parity of this particular column is even already, hence the parity bit appended is 0. So now, along with the original data units, the newly computed data units with appended parity bits will be sent over the transmission medium. So these are the transmitted data blocks. At the receiving end, the receiver will check for these parity bits by recomputing them. If the parity bits match with what is sent by the sender, the receiver assumes the data to be correctly received. The 2D parity check also has a drawback. If 2 bits in a data unit are corrupted and any other 2 bits on the same position in any other data unit are also corrupted, still the 2D parity checker will not be able to detect the errors. So there is a drawback with two-dimensional parity check as well. So these 2 techniques, the single parity check and two-dimensional parity check, these 2 techniques are useful only in those sorts of communication channels where the possibility of burst errors are less. Wherever there is possibility of only single bit errors happening, these 2 parity checks can be used. So in this video, you learned the functions of data link layer and 2 error detecting techniques which are provided by the data link layer, the single parity check and two-dimensional parity check. Thank you.